Hello, viewers, wherever you are today. We are grateful to God for His goodness. We are back. I am Pastor Forbes, and this is Jaama FM, our online internet, radio, and television station here at the Gateway in the Gambia. We are now setting a process of probably bi-weekly interviews with two different people, live of course. And part of what we want to do is showcase, as I keep saying, the beauty, the joy, and just the hard work of people here, Gambians, non-Gambians, who are doing something and making a difference. Somebody used the word unsung heroes, and I don't really like it because heroes must be sung, but yes, because not everybody gets the opportunity to be mainstreamed. Some people just like to do their thing in their own corner, and they don't want to blow their own trumpet. But life is also about being able to mentor, inspire, coach people so that what you are doing or what you have done becomes a pointer, a goalpost, a roadmap to what others aspire to be. And therefore the cycle of a mentor, mentee, and inspiration, and if there is any word like an inspiree, continues, and we build a better culture. So we've had many people that have come graciously by our invitation to share their story, and I have two people that I'll be chatting with today. The first is a gentleman that I had never known. I don't think he knew me, maybe on television, but we met by what I am beginning to think is part of the many ways the Almighty God brings people together. And he came in to do our public speaking training at the Forbes Academy, and he did the entire 3-segment package. He came for segment 1 as part of a group, and he did segment 2 with that group, and the group wanted a break, and he called me the same evening or the next day and asked what does it take for him to finish, because he's on a mission. He's a businessman. He wants to finish so that he can speak well. So I told him what it would cost to come as a private trainee, and he came the next day, and he brought the money, and he started, and he finished, and he gave his speech as the examination speech in the presence of 8 examiners who really grilled him, but for the joy of his life. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Bubacarr Jaiteh of Kerr. He is the founder and the CEO of Kerr. Just so that you get to know that there are other real estate development agencies doing well. We have the super big boys. We all know them. And by the grace of God, we will also have time to share with them. They are very busy flying all over the world. But Bubacarr Jaiteh is cutting his teeth, or maybe has already cut his teeth in the system. Beautiful houses. I saw a house that my wife and I was like, oh Lord, we want to be able to say we live here. And of course, I would personally say his company's claim to fame, that's me, I may be wrong, is that they just a few months ago built a house for arguably the best and highly and most expensively paid Gambian soccer player. I'm sure he'll tell us about that, how it happened. But Bubacarr, it's such a joy to have you here, and welcome to Jaama FM.
Thank you very much, Pastor Forbes. Thank you. I'm really honored for this invitation and humbled by it. And I would want to also thank our esteemed viewers for giving us their time. My name is Bubacarr Jaiteh, like you said, CEO of...
And I must say that every time I see him, I think his tailor, I don't know what he pays his tailor, but his tailor makes no mistake. know, when they say something is bespoke, the man dresses. And Mrs. Jaiteh, baby Jaiteh, and all the Jaiteh Kunda people. Bubacarr, why did you come to TFA in the first place? TFA is the Forbes Academy. Why did you come to do public speaking? What's the relationship between public speaking and selling houses?
Thank you very much, Pastor, for this question. I am an entrepreneur. And you cannot truly be an entrepreneur if you cannot sell your ideas. I have long been hiding from the public. When I have interviews or people to talk to, I would use one of my staffs to face the media or people, public, to talk to them about what we do. But I soon realized that I am the brand ambassador, and I cannot just run away from that. I have to master the courage to not only talk to the public, but I should endeavor to be convincing with my words, such that when we have investments to do, I'll be able to convince our investors to join our investments, and I'll be also able to to convince clients to buy properties. And I know, really, to be successful as an entrepreneur, I need to hone my public speaking skills. I was terribly bad at it. Like, really, from school days, I would not even come out of the class.
To the blackboard.
I'm always sitting there.
So you're one of those boys sitting at the back.
Always. So but I knew I have to do something about it. Okay, and that's one thing. And the second thing is, when you become successful, or when you're becoming successful, you want to also inspire the aspiring entrepreneurs.
That's right.
And I think this is leadership. And for you to be able to inspire people to do good, you should be very eloquent. You should be able to sell your stories to them. You should be able to tell them things that you did right, so that they can emulate. And also the mistakes that you've gone through, so that they can avoid these mistakes.
Yes.
So I knew I just have to work on it. And again, when we talk about credibility, in business, that's everything for you.
That's right.
So
I think in everything in life.
Yes, but especially in
business.
And more especially in real estate, where you're dealing with people's life earning.
That's right.
You need to be really seen credible. Okay, and I've recently watched some documentaries where you find people building an entire estate, multi-million-dollar estates, without spending a penny and without taking a loan from the bank. And they're only able to do this
because of their credibility.
And how do you get credibility? Like, how do you get people to see you credible? Okay, the first part is you have to do the right thing. You have to do what you said you're going to do.
Keep your word.
Yeah, let's say you say, you're going to build a house for somebody within a period of 6 months, and this is the design. Now, if you publish this at the early stage, people want to know how this would come about, how this would end. Now, 6 months later, if you fulfill the promises that you made,
he keeps his word,
then people would start seeing you credible. So the second part has to do with communicating what you said you were going to do, and you did it. You have to be able to communicate it effectively.
Right.
Okay. So this comes in different forms. Okay. So you have to be able to present your cases to people, and you cannot really do this without working on your communication skills.
And TFA gave you that?
Yes, absolutely.
Hey.
Absolutely.
Sure?
Yeah, absolutely.
What was your first degree in?
Bachelor's in Electrical and Electronics Engineering.
Whoa, what's the connection? You are selling houses.
Nothing. So this is life for you. Yes. In fact, when I towards the end of my degree, yes, I actually lose interest in what I was doing. I met a friend who had a lot of influence in me. He was doing business.
Okay.
So he would explain business to a very great depth to me. And he was managing a company, so he'll explain some things to me, of the, that has to do with these multinational companies.
Wow.
So it really caught my interest, and then I started reading books on businesses.
So when you sleep at night, please tell me you don't dream about houses, hotels, gated premises.
Pastor, honestly, I do.
Oh,
like the I think one of the differences, because I believe, okay, if you build a house just ordinarily, okay, maybe someone called you, you're building a house and you need a tile, and your contractor or your project manager calls you to say, okay, we're at the tile stage, what kind of tiles do we put there? You say, just call, let's say, Naris and ask him what tiles he has.
Right.
If you build it that ordinarily, the product would be ordinary.
Of course.
So if you want people to be connected emotionally to your product, you will have to invest in emotion.
Wow.
So until I fully conceptualize what I'm doing, I'm not at rest. So if you give me a project to do and you have high hopes that I'll turn your house into a very beautiful piece of art, until I'm fully able to conceptualize, like what kind of tiles am I going to put here, what are the designs and all those aspects, I'll not be at rest. So I do think about my projects a lot. I make a lot of research on them. So that's why they are very dear to me as well. So it's no coincidence that they look beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay. It's all calculated.
So even the flowers I see on the driveways,
all calculated. Sometimes we would do the landscaping and redo it, and go and get inspirations from other videos and stuff and come and redo it again, just so we get what we want.
So when I drove into the property, you were in your car, I was going to tiptoe to come and see whether, are you dreaming about something or the next house, So how have you handled a difficult client? Have you had a difficult client?
Pastor, I've had really difficult clients.
And how have you handled it?
Yeah.
Did you think of quitting and going back to electrical engineering?
No, I've never.
Because the wires will not complain with you. Resistors don't complain with you.
From the first day, and from the books that I read, I got to understand the fact that the journey would not be easy.
Yeah.
And I also have a very clear goal. So when I come...
I feel like I'm in school.
Yeah, when I
present your project, communicate well, have a clear goal. 3 points.
Yeah. So when I find myself in difficult situations, in fact, those situations, it becomes reassuring that I am doing I'm on the journey as an entrepreneur. Like it's a confirmation for me that I'm on the right path, because I am meant to understand that the journey would not be easy. So yes, I have came across very difficult clients, but you see, people can sense the truth. So no matter how difficult you are, if I messed up, I'll tell you I messed up. Okay. But I'm willing to...
Honesty number 4.
Yeah, I'll be willing to make up. And if there's a problem beyond my control, I tell you there's a problem beyond my control, finish. So I also try my best to compensate clients where I'm lacking.
Okay.
Yeah, but I do come across all sorts of clients.
So in your industry, I know you build houses. I know also people whose houses were supposed to build and were not built well, they come to you and you remodel. I know you do all that. And then there's a perennial issue of title deed and all that. But there's a question I want to ask. Somebody drove once by a particular part in our country, Cosmopolitan, so between Banjul and Brikama. I can't name where it is. And saw a very large house, all tiled. And the person made a comment that this looks like a large bathroom. That's what the person said. This looks like a large bathroom. And I want to say I think I understand why. Because, number one, there's no tile factory here, except I'm wrong. So sometimes when you buy the tiles, you think they are going to be enough, and then they are not enough, but then that particular tile is finished in the country. How have you ever handle such a thing?
Oh, yes.
What do you do?
In fact,
because we see patches.
Yeah, the last project that I handed over, I thought I bought a tile enough for 2 houses. So by the time I'm finished with the first house, they started laying the tiles for the second house.
It wasn't sufficient.
It wasn't sufficient. We checked here, we could not find the tile. So what I ended up doing is I removed all the tiles that I've... And what was left was, it went past halfway anyway.
You removed all?
I removed everything. Then I replaced them with another
Number
tile.
6, integrity.
Yes.
I'm in school, I'm learning. Honesty, integrity, keep your word.
So because you cannot give that mediocre product to your client, because this is what would define you.
Yeah.
If he comes, they'll ask who built this house for you, and people would pass their comments, and they're going to judge you by what they see.
And it spreads.
Yeah, exactly. So this is why, in fact, I don't compromise my standards. Pastor.
So, Bubacarr, how do you translate this to your staff? Do you have subcontractors? Because, we have this nice phrase in Gambia, Bahnani Kendokogis. It's good like that. Let me speak West African English. It's good like that. Nobody will, because sometimes people are very impervious to remove this. No, they'll argue with you.
Yeah.
How have you brought your staff on board with this quality of integrity that you bring to the...
As far as my staff are concerned, because I'm working with them and I approve of things, they get to understand how I want things to be done. Now, when it comes to the subcontractors, like the masons, the welder men that I work with, or the tile men, even before I onboard you, I prepare your mind. So I'll call you and then tell you, see, I know you've been working for a while, but we do things differently.
Yeah.
We don't compromise 2 things.
Good.
Standard and time. So I would overemphasize this to you to the point that you're prepared mentally to respond to my works accordingly. Because what happened is they tend to take it as a challenge. Okay. Okay. No, I'll be able to. Bro, are you sure you can do this? Because this is, you have to be able to do it this way. And if you cannot do it that way, let me know before we get into this contract. Because otherwise, it's not going to go well for both of us. And they'll persist that they'll be able to. And once you give it to them and you guide them, they mostly they would respond. And situations, obviously there are situations where genuinely there are circumstances beyond their control and they could not deliver on time, or maybe they've done their best but it's not still too good. We assist them and see how to fill in the gaps. But if we realize that you're the type that, like we've been working with some people for a while and they will take you for granted and want to do a job somewhere and keep you holding. So obviously we have contracts where timeline is not, we don't play with that. If you go beyond the timeline, you lose money. But and so you would not like that, of course. You would want to respond. But definitely it's tough. I make myself very clear before I get you on board.
All right. Yeah. So do they see you as a hard man? Kimbira meeting and never growl.
Yeah, I think my personality, when it comes to work, is a bit different from when I'm
at home.
Yeah, because in fact when I started being an entrepreneur here, I was really soft. Okay, people would mess around with me, and I'll want to take steps. I'll say, but I realized, to some extent, you have to be really ruthless or hard, if that is
the word to use. Yeah. All right. So let me ask you this question, Bubacarr. Because from my interaction, I know that you were working somewhere and then you started this business and your salary is what you were using to pay your staff to the point that you were not eating. Tell us that story. Because now we see Bubacarr with the V8, V6, V16 cars or whatever, helicopter maybe, who knows, private jet. But it never starts like that.
No.
Tell us a little bit. Tell the viewers about, maybe there's some young entrepreneur there who, wants to start and then drive a Bentley. How did you transition?
Okay, it all started in India.
And that's in university?
University, when I made my mind that I was going to start a business.
So, by the way, you graduated, I hope?
I graduated, yeah.
All right.
In fact, I've worked with...
All right, okay.
So I made my mind that I was going to start a business, and when I checked, I chose real estate. Okay, because I fall with real estate after reading some books. So I contacted few companies, pioneers in the country, and I forged a partnership with them to act as agencies for them.
Okay.
Agents for them so that I'll be able to sell on their behalf because I don't have any property. So I came, the little capital that I have, my sister in the UK, Fatmata,
yes.
also gave me some few
pounds.
Yeah, exactly. So I bought a mini car, and took an office, decorated the office, and hired staff.
And you were paying them?
I was initially, so I was paying them. I was working at NAWEC. If I take my salary, I'll pay them from because business was not going.
What were you going home with?
I was not there to actually run business. I thought maybe if we open a real estate, people will come by and they will say, I have this property to sell it for me. And people will come and give us their rented properties to rent. So, but it was not happening. Like they'll sit the whole day in the office and then go home.
And then
I'll be fueling the car. They'll drop me at NAWEC and they'll go with my car.
Oh, really?
Seriously. So things were not really moving. And I had to use my salary to pay them. Wow. After the 6 months that I rented the property, the office from, I knew, and it was time to pay another rent. I could not pay it. So I was like, let's just close the office. Wow. So I had a vehicle. I did not even go there because it was really sad for me. So they took all the office
chairs, furniture, everything.
And put it in the vehicle and took it to my house.
Oh,
so fast forward, I decided to quit because then I realized if this has to work, I have to make it work.
Yeah.
Okay. Nobody can start a business for me and make it stand. So I have to.
Did you have a scenario where when you tendered your resignation, whoever it was then at NAWEC called you and said, "Look,
yes,
your future is bright here, young man.
Yes,
we are earmarking you to be the."
It coincided
in 25 years' time.
A week before I tendered my resignation, I had a shock.
Yeah. Okay?
So we were working on an underground cable, and it blows. So they thought, in fact, I had an accident there, and they came to check me out, but I was fine. So the next week, when I tendered my resignation, they thought it was related to it. I had to explain myself, but they were not ready to understand. In fact, they've paid me 2 months after I've paid. They did not accept my resignation at face value. So 2 months, 3 months they were paying. At the end, I just stopped going because I've already made up my mind. So, but before I resigned, I started a kiosk at the Gambia College where I sell breakfast and lunch to the students.
What a journey!
Yeah. So that I'm at least able to sustain myself while I focus on understanding the industry. Because then I realized it's not going to come easy. Yeah. Okay.
And why is that car, by the way?
Which I gave that car away. I'm sure by now it is scrapped.
All right. So, how much liberty and latitude do you have? All right. So I'm coming from Iceland. I'm coming from Bolivia. I'm coming from New Zealand. I'm coming from Zimbabwe. And I say, this is how I want you to build this house. But you as a contractor know the climate in Gambia, the materials, and you just know that, look, I can do what you want, but you're going to come back. So rather than we doing variation, for which I will charge you, why don't you just let me show you what I can do? Have you had discussions like that?
Yeah, you have clients like that. Okay, you know where they pushing you is a dead end, and you try to explain yourself, they will not understand. At some point, you have to put cost to the service that you're providing them.
Wow.
That is what they want you to do up to that point. But just to let them know that this is a dead end. Yeah, I've just before the rainy season, there was a client that came to me and said she wanted me to renovate her house. This house is at a location where it's very difficult to build. Very, very extremely difficult.
Okay.
So after assessing the house, it was going to be cheaper to build a fresh house at a different location, including the land, than to remodel the house the way she wanted it. After assessing, I told her, you're better off buying a house at this location for this price than trying to bring this house. Yeah, exactly.
Did she buy it?
She would not agree.
Well, because some people are emotionally invested in properties, you know.
And no, the thing is, she's never lived in that property.
Oh.
She just insisted that I should do the costing because for some reason maybe she has a feeling.
It was family inheritance or something.
Yeah, so I did the costing. But when the bill came out, it turns out that I was right.
Wow.
So you say, and you have scenarios like that. Yeah.
So how many houses have you built so far? Well, you don't have to give me the figure, but hundreds.
Not up to 100, but we are in our tens now.
In the tens.
Yeah. So
upper tens.
Yeah, upper tens.
Right.
So at this point, what we're trying to do is build a gated community, maybe of 20 to 50 houses for now.
Wow. You got the location? I want to ask where, but you got the location, I'm sure.
Yeah, we have a location that we are currently negotiating. Yes.
Wow. And so is it going to be one-stop gated with everything inside, supermarket and all that, or just residential?
No, it's going to be residential, but you'll have mini markets, basic needs, basically.
All right. Okay. Wow. So what would be do you have any houses that are similar, or you do bespoke houses? Any two that are the same?
Yes, we have houses that are similar. Like if we build a house, normally what happens, in fact, is if we release a house, now we'll get 5, 6, 7 clients who will say we want exactly the same house. You cannot even convince them that we have other designs. So we'll build those houses for them.
This is cheaper for you.
Then yes, then the next month we release another house, and you'll have a set of clients who would want that house.
Exactly.
That design. But I make sure at every point I have 3, 4 houses that we're building that no one has influence over. Even if you want to pay a deposit, I would not let you, because we also want to work on our creativity and make sure we produce things the way we feel, are up to date and are nice. So when clients see them when they're finished, then you can buy it or you can opt for this. So at every point, like right now, maybe next week we'll release one. I have a lot of clients who wanted to put deposit in it, because the moment you allow a customer to pay for it, now you have to go by his or her dictates.
That's right.
Okay, so you would not be able to build it the way you want.
The way you want it.
Okay, so they're kind of samples for us to.
All right. So you have a sample house. You've really put everything, your dreams in it, everything, and it's good, and it's a bungalow. It's just smashing. It's Bubacarr Jaiteh. Now somebody comes to buy it and says, look, I want to put a second floor. And not even the foundation. Foundation's okay, can take 2. And you're just thinking that, it's going to wreck it. What do you do? Do you advise them, or you just say, well, look, yes, the end justifies the means, so they'll pay me, I'll do it?
Yeah, so we'll advise you, of course. If we feel like it's going to make the design awkward, we'll advise you and possibly even give you another alternative. But as long as you've purchased it, I think we can only stop advising. Yes. Sometimes, like a couple of months ago, a client bought a property. He bought a land at a very remote place, like and choose one of my best designs, and asked me to
replicate it there,
to build a house there. When I visited the location, I advised him not to build the house. It's out of place. Okay, the location is not suitable for that house. And instead, you can build a more modest house that would, because if you invest that much, let's say you want to rent it out, you would not be able to.
Yeah, it's remote.
So it doesn't make sense. So we'll advise you to do what is right, but of course, if you insist,
build it.
We will build it. But thank God the client did listen to us.
Yeah. All right. So the wonderful house, the footballer house. Okay, I don't want to go into any details. I don't want trouble with anybody, but just because we've all been watching the progress of that. Everybody has eyes on it.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a celebrity house. So
absolutely.
Tell us what you are at liberty to tell us. That will not cause any trouble.
Yes. One year ago, the family or the brother, the coach, came to our office. Then we've recently finished a house.
Yes.
And the house, which is currently Madam Seka's house. So they saw the house and they wanted it. So they came to my office. They went and saw the house. But just before they could do anything, Madam Seka showed interest. And I gave my word. So when they came and said that is the house that they want,
it's gone.
It's gone already. They convinced me, honestly, but I've already given my word. I cannot go back to that.
More money?
Yes. And in fact, they paid more. So, but then
word of honor.
I told them, unfortunately, this is gone. But then I told them I can build exactly this house within a period of 6 months if you're just going to put a deposit for me, maybe, and pay the rest along. Bit skeptical, they initially rejected the offer. They went around. So they checked a couple of houses with other developers and came back to me and said, I think we will take the deal that you're going to. So we talked about it. I took them to a site that they liked. The construction begins, and the rest is history.
The rest is history.
Yes.
So, is that flagship, or it's one of the many flagship properties that you've done?
It's one of the many. Okay, so we built for some clients who would not want us to disclose their identities. Yes. You have some private clients, and we would not even put their properties out there.
That's right.
Minte, actually, we had to, because he is, like you said, is one of our celebrities.
Yes.
You like it or not?
Yeah.
Okay. So he did bring a lot of clients to us when we
all right.
So we had to really talk to him and then put the adverts on.
Yeah.
Because it really gave us a lot of goodwill.
Yeah.
But we have a lot of clients also that would not want us to.
Yes, and that's understood. And your clients are both local and international, of course.
Yes, sir.
Gambian, non-Gambian, diaspora, Gambian.
Absolutely.
So, when you build your gated premise, are you dreaming of something else?
Yes.
Where does this dream stop?
Okay. So, my goal for now is by 2030.
How many houses?
I want to be able to build 1,000 houses. Yeah. So most of what we're doing is just exercising our skills, trying to show that we're worthy of building beautiful houses, and we've also tested our pace like how long it's going to take us to build a house. You know, with our human resources, we're basically testing ourselves, and along the line making small impact. But we're really looking forward to having like a really meaningful impact in the housing industry in the next few years. And I think we are good to go now.
You're good to go.
Yeah, we're good to scale up. We're just looking for the
right.
But
you'll have a new office too, I know.
Yeah. Okay, sure.
So
We've relocated. So we're just talking to the right partners, and then
we hit the road. All right. So somebody once asked one of the big names in your space, who is a TFA alumnus, have you sold more houses since you came to the Forbes Academy? Because you can talk. I ask you the same question.
Yes, sir. In fact, I think prior to Forbes Academy, I was not known much. I was building houses, but then not many people knew me. You know, when I came, because I was granted interviews and documentaries where I had requests. A couple of people requested that I should have a documentary with them, but I've been running away because I was not good enough, I feel like. So after going through Forbes Academy, I granted some of those interviews. And because of those interviews, many people, especially in the diaspora, got to know what I'm doing.
Wow.
And they've contacted me, and I've since been building for people from here to, you know.
Wow.
So yes, I've sold more houses, and the impact is bigger after my training.
All right.
Yeah, and I've had presentations with corporate bodies.
Wow.
And
look at that.
Government
so this is what we're talking about. Gambians are doing things. We're doing things.
And things are loading.
So, small nice question. Do you drive home and you look at your house and think that, I think I should change this house into something else? You know, because, you know, when you're a visionary, you don't seem to be satisfied. Do you look at your house and think, look, break this wall here, extend the kitchen and, you know, move that room there, or you're okay? And I'm sure the house is nice.
Yes. So okay. Like, I'm the type that believes that you cannot have a big tummy and then you want to show me how to have 6 packs. I'll not really be convinced.
All right. So, walk the walk, talk the talk.
Exactly. So if you say you can, everyone wants good things. Yeah. So you cannot claim to be building beautiful houses for people and you don't have one. So you have to start with yourself. Okay. So, not bragging, but I think at least my house is good. So
no cutting of corners anywhere.
Yeah, maybe in the next few years, it's more than enough.
All right.
So if I host clients there, they'll see, and it's easier to convince them that I can do their houses as well.
But I'm sure it's not your dream house.
Yeah, the dream house is coming after.
It's coming, yeah. So. I still want to see where I can pinch you, Bubacarr. So let's move to your dream house. You build this dream house.
Yes.
And everybody claps that this is the Jaiteh. The house is shaped like a B and J. And you've invested so much. Mrs. Jaiteh loves it. The baby loves it. And then Bill Gates comes to offer you money. Will you sell it?
Pastor, this one I have to talk to madam.
Look, a house is a house.
Personally, as long as you know, houses, people can feel emotionally attached to houses.
That's right.
Okay. So
that's why some people don't sell. There are families where the property is still falling and we don't sell.
So this is what I'm saying. I'm an entrepreneur. I can sell and get another house.
And if you rent a place.
Exactly. And then but then it depends. I might want to talk to madam and see if they are okay with it. And it depends on the offer also on the table.
All right. The offer is what I call nonsense money.
Pastor, you're tempting me too much.
Yeah, and madam says no. Don't answer here. I don't want you to get into trouble. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we are beginning to come to an end here. We chat a lot. We talk a lot. I have really come to appreciate Mr. Jaiteh for what he does. He's talked about word of honor, communicating piece by piece. He's talked about integrity, honesty, and I'm just so happy to know you, Bubacarr.
My pleasure.
Can I ask you to take maybe 5 minutes and maybe just face that camera and sell Kerr Finder, because it's what you do. Yes, you are making money about it, but I'm trying to remember the phrase you had in public speaking. We just don't sell houses, we sell something. You said an experience or something. We don't build houses. Just talk to the people. They're diaspora Gambian, they're diaspora non-Gambian, there are people coming home. People have all kinds of stories. You know, I sent money and the money vanished. They snapped somebody's house and showed me when I came. I saw goods on the land. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the man himself. His story is from electrics, electronic engineering in India. Very brilliant. Stumbled across what I think is his purpose so far, and came back, worked, and was using his salary to run his office, and the rest is history. This is somebody we can trust in. This is somebody we can work with. Over to you, Mr. Jaiteh.
Thank you very much. Once again, I'll take you through Kerr Finder as a company. Kerr Finder first came into existence in 2015 as a small business, focusing on land sales and property management. We have helped a lot of Gambians here and in the diaspora to acquire properties with less hassle. We have since become known for providing secure investments to our clients.
That's good.
I think by 2018, we had sold over 1,000 properties, landed properties in this country.
That's just 6 years ago.
Yes.
Wow.
Via estates and all that. But in our efforts in solving the accommodation needs of Gambians, we realized that we were only catering for half of the problem, because our clients would face difficulties in building their desired houses on the landed properties that we've been selling to them. And this is mainly for few reasons, one of which you've just mentioned.
Yeah. Scams.
Scammers,
Yeah.
you know, scamming them, and also family members misusing project funds. And sometimes some contractors would genuinely want to build, but because the expertise is not there, so they would settle for substandard workmanships. You know, we all know in the diaspora how their work schedule are.
Yeah.
The burden of managing a project while in a different country is something that is not really easy. So we decided to look at how to resolve this problem. So we tried to equip ourselves with the required construction expertise to be able to provide start to finish service to our clients. So we have since actually prided ourselves with providing not just quality and durable houses, but also the state-of-the-art designs tailored to our clients' expectations. Currently, we are building houses at different locations, namely Sukuta traffic lights. Around Dalaba, we're also doing at Jaama. But unfortunately, all these are sold out except for Bruford. We also have our sites at Bruford. We're also building story buildings at Paradise View.
Wow.
So this is what we do. But we also provide special services to those who have structural and design errors to correct them and all that. And like I said, our goal is to build 1,000 houses, strong quality houses, by 2030.
And I'm sure your information is all being scrolled for people to see, but I know you've said it, but why should I come to you? In particular, why should I come to Kerr Finder?
Okay, if you come to us, you would, your rest assured you would have value for money. I've seen a lot of people putting affordable housing or cheap out there. And in my humble opinion, affordable is a very relative term. What is more important is you have value for money. So when you come to us, we would listen to you and know what your needs are. And we try to beat your expectations.
Wow.
And that's precisely value for money.
Wow. And of course, you're building celebrity houses too. So, all right. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are about bringing this to an end. I just want to tease him one little bit. So, our baby daughter.
Yes.
I hope her toys are not houses and spades and shovels and dumping levels and spirit levels and cups. She plays with normal toys.
No, I tried to get her far from the housing. You just reminded me of my little boy Zaid.
Yes.
Normally on Saturdays and Sundays I visit all the sites.
He goes with you to the sites.
And one day we were chatting and I asked him, Zaid, what do you want to do when you're grown up? He said, I want to build houses and sell. I said, then I have someone to take my legacy on there.
Yes, it's generational because businesses don't really become very generational in this company. So that's good. So Zaid, keep it going. But Bubacarr, it's just been a joy chatting with you. As I keep saying, this is no interview, it's just a chat. But people should know that there are people in the country doing phenomenal things. And there is space for everyone.
Absolutely.
There is space for everyone.
Absolutely.
And thank you for coming back home. Thank you. You didn't stay back in India. As for the electronics engineering, I don't know. I think that cable must have shocked you really bad. That was God telling you, get out of this hole and go build houses and contribute to what... There's a housing deficit in Africa.
Absolutely.
Actually, globally.
Absolutely. When I checked, was it 140,000 some time ago? There's a lot of housing deficit. Usually, Pastor, people are complaining about this rent issues. Okay, as if the landlords decide to be a bit lenient with their tenants, the problem would be solved. It's not that easy.
Yeah.
I agree with people that you should be, or landlords should be ethical in their rent increments. You cannot just go from 0 to or 1 to 10. It doesn't make any sense. You have to feel that empathy for people. But again, the problem is bigger than that. Gambians, we react to problems. We don't really solve problems. So if we really want to solve this issue, we should be addressing housing problems. And all of us have a role to play, all of us.
Yeah.
The government, to start with the government. See, in every part of the world, okay, let's say we have social security and housing, and their mandate is to provide, part of their mandate is to provide housing for its people. So I think they should push themselves beyond just providing plots for civil servants whose salary are already too low. Because you don't expect a civil servant earning 10,000 to be servicing a social security plot and then paying his rent at home, and then you expect him to build that house. It's not just practical. So they'll end up selling their houses. You're not really solving problems. So I think Social Security should instead provide houses that are of low cost for people that they can pay over duration, and consider their rents in those houses as mortgage.
Renting to own.
Yeah, exactly. So after some time, before they get retired, they will own the houses. Now, if they get their retirements, they can take care of their houses, their lives until they... And councils also should come on board.
Like what happens abroad.
Yeah, exactly. And they can do it. Like, you have to start from somewhere. If you're building 100 houses every 5 years, we would have been, they would have solved a lot of housing problems by now. And it doesn't have to be luxury housing. You're solving problems. Houses are basic needs. Accommodation is a basic need. So every council should try as much as possible to provide houses to its residents, at least those that we're in the rainy season. You have people that are sleeping in water.
Yeah.
So if you're able to provide houses for them, you just build them out of that situation. And it's not like they'll be paying rents to you.
And of course, Kerr Finder is available
to partner with you.
To partner with you.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Well, thank you so much, Bubacarr. It's been a pleasure chatting with you.
Thank you.
And let this not be a one-off. You know, you can come, we can have another chat. Because there's so many things we haven't talked about, obviously.
Absolutely.
But it's a joy knowing you. It's a pleasure.
My pleasure.
And ladies and gentlemen, this is one of us doing a great work. So please touch base with him and help us solve the problem. And believe me, you'll be happy you did. All right, so we're going to wrap it up here. And I have somebody else who has a phenomenal story about his life. It's something that you're going to be glued to your seat listening to this gentleman until we finish. Just give us about 5-10 minutes and we'll be back your way. Ciao until we see. Jaama FM, shaping minds, transforming lives, online radio and television. Bye.